Sean here, one half of Sean and Kiara. We are the co-creators of Lucy in the Sky, a graphic novel for middle grade readers published by First Second. Our second graphic novel, Rhiannon, will be out in October of 2025. If you like the things we do, please consider supporting us by becoming a paying member of our Patreon site for $4 a month. And if you enjoy videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, as it'll help us build this channel. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Hello and welcome. This is Sean, and this time I'm going to be reading another short story. Well, it's an episode from a novel-length story. But the first part, this is one of several stories that I'll be looking at that ran in the my favorite period of heavy metal magazine, which was the first few years, the late 70s, early 80s, before Kevin Eastman takes over the magazine. And really enjoy this period. You get all this wonderful art from European comics creators and others, and there's just a sensibility that kind of disappears once we get into the late 80s and beyond. And maybe it is more of a 1960s, 1970s sensibility that just sort of goes away after a while. At any rate, so this story we're going to look at today is Ulysses, which is an adaptation of the Odyssey by two French comic creators, Jacques Lob and Georges Pichard. And I noticed this when I was kind of browsing through all these electronic files, scans of these old issues of heavy metal. This is from an issue that would have been before I started reading the magazine when I was a teenager. And it caught my eye. One of the things that caught my eye first was the artwork by Georges Pichard. And I recognized who it was. I could recognize the style because I had a book by Georges Pichard at one point, and he has a very distinctive style. It was not hard to pick out. And I've looked through the panels, I've looked at the art. I haven't read through the whole thing yet, so we're going to read through it. And so I guess, in a way, this will be kind of like a reaction video. So this is from 1978, January 1978. Take a look at the cover. I might have to censor some of this for YouTube, because there is nudity in Heavy Metal magazine. Right. And so we begin. Ulysses. After 10 years of fierce fighting, the proud city of Troy has fallen to the Greek warriors. Today the blood of gallant men will no longer be spilled, and the victors wish only to return to their far-off homes. Among them is the crafty Ulysses, a warrior's warrior, who prepares to depart for Ithaca, his native isle, where his faithful wife Penelope awaits him. Penelope, my beloved, my dove, how I long to see you again. Away all the ropes, to the oars. Ahoy there! Is there some little place for me aboard? Who is that? His face is somehow familiar. It's the poet Homer. You must know him. He was at the front with us. I wasn't aware that a poet's place was on the battlefield. But Homer is a war correspondent, O valiant Ulysses. By Zeus, and who will describe the mighty deeds of the Trojan War to your people, Ulysses, if not a poet? Who else will sing songs of your deeds and those of the Greek and Trojan heroes for the generations to come? For 10 years I have taken endless notes and gathered information. It's all there. Now I need only find a publisher. Very well, we will be honored to have you on board. You can read us a few pages of your book during the voyage. Ere long, Ulysses' ship, driven on by favorable winds, sails joyously towards its destination. In a few days, we will be in Ithaca, and Penelope will be in my arms. Penelope, my little chickadee. I don't know if he's going to sleep or if he's humming at the thought of embracing Penelope there. But alas, in their metal fortress crowning the inaccessible heights of Olympus, the gods have decided otherwise. So, first off, Pichard uses Ulysses, which is the Roman name for Odysseus, which is interesting choice. I don't know if that's the more, maybe that's the more common usage among the French. I'm not sure. One thing that struck me about the artwork is the use of the color. It's used very, is very limited, and of course we're looking at a scan from a print reproduction, so it's kind of hard to see how it might be intended to be seen originally, but the limited color and color washes, so watercolor washes, and interesting color choices. The yellow for Homer's skin, and we'll see this in the pages to come as well. And then there's the sort of wink wink to the reader. We're bringing in modern sensibilities, so Homer being in the story itself, putting him in here as a war correspondent. And then we see Mount Olympus in the hall of the Greek gods as some sort of futuristic space station. We'll see that it's actually kind of a spaceship later on. It's here that they directly observe mortals through a telectronoscope. Telectronoscope, I guess that is. Come on, Zeus. Haven't you anything better to show us than a medium close-up of Ulysses pining away for his wife? Too bad the war's over. It was some show. So this is a great panel. We see the inside of the gods' hall of Olympus, the Great Hall. And there the gods are all kind of assembled around Zeus on his big control center throne. And we've got a wide screen, sort of a panoramic screen where they're watching the doings of the mortals. And the gods are all kitted out in sort of quasi-superhero or sci-fi looking costumes. We see they're speaking with, I'm assuming, is Hermes, with the wings on his helmet. And they're all kind of lounging around. It looks like it's like a 70s kind of orgy with cushions on the floor and so forth. We're not going to let Ulysses get back to Ithaca without an adventure, are we? Sure, this way the valiant Ulysses will find Penelope again, and they will live happily ever after and have lots of children. Ho-hum. All right, what else do you suggest? There we have Zeus, sort of the hippie king with his red face. And what is he drinking there? I see an N and an E. Nescafe, maybe? A storm for openers? A clash of thunder in a clear sky? Unchain the elements. Right on, something really spectacular. So I'm wondering if this one up front here is Artemis, because of the moon on her. She's got some sort of harness on her face. It's got a very fetish kind of look to it. An SMBD kind of vibe to the whole thing, which feeds into the 70s 70s kind of sleaziness to it. Um, I like the character down here with the word bubble coming out like a puff of steam out of his helmet. Is that Hephaestus, maybe? Don't listen to them, Zeus. Hasn't Ulysses already proved his courage in the face of danger? Has he ever disappointed us? He's put in 10 years fighting for our amusement. Doesn't he finally deserve to find his home and those he loves again? Exactly. Are we going to let this hero, this truly remarkable performer, end up in some domestic comedy like any common mortal? Come on, Athena. Are we asking too much? Just a little amusement, a last bit of gallantry. Before long, we'll be reduced to watching pathetic little human soap operas, plotless plots, sitcoms. Ulysses is a terrific sailor. He'll come through with flying colors. So be it then. And if he can't do it alone, we'll help him. All right, Athena? All right, everybody. Places for the show. And now a loud vibration, like the song of a mighty chorus, suddenly shakes the whole mountain. And behold, the central zone of the powerful fortress breaks away and rises majestically into the blue sky. So here we have them detaching their little command center, audience chamber, whatever you want to call it, orgy room, has become like a flying saucer. The vessel of the gods now slips its moorings and drifts across the heavens. And see how the heavy black clouds gather above Ulysses' ship. We're going to be overtaken by a real squall. What changeable weather. The sky was so clear just a few minutes ago. It is the work of Zeus, collector of clouds, master of the elements, who right now is preparing to unleash floods of energy upon the earth. Crackle, crackle, roar, rumble, roar, Shazam. I like the Shazam inserted in there. Zeus's fire, veer about. Down comes Zeus's fire. Captain, the wind has torn the sails. Rap. The ship is listing badly. Haul down the sails, all hands to the oars. The straits of Aphrodite are nearby. We must reach them, come what may. You too, Homer, to the oars. I need every man. Anything you say, Ulysses, just let me tuck this precious manuscript inside my clothes. It's the only copy I have, and I don't want to see the pages scattered on the wind. Again and again Ulysses tried to reach the straits, but again and again the elements leagued against him, thrust him back. So we have here Homer is recording the story as he's living it. It's useless to persist. We shall never reach Aphrodite's strait now. After many hours, the fury of the waves at last subsided, and the sky began to clear, but an implacable wind continued to blow, sweeping Ulysses and his brave crew far from shore. At last, the worst is over. The gods willing, for this evil wind is carrying us toward the land of the Lotus Eaters. The land of the Lotus Eaters. Don't they call it the land of terror? Yes, for they say that those who venture there never return. Zeus, don't forget your promise. Don't let them enter the forbidden land. They won't get that far. Ha ha, I'm sending them up against the Sentinel. Far away from lands where men live, on the edges of the forbidden world, is an island inhabited by a gigantic, nightmarish figure, the Sentinel. Is it a monster, or is it a machine? No one can endure the glare of its gaze. How many sailors, how many captains, blinded by the terrible beam radiating from the single eye of the Cyclops, ran aground on the reefs surrounding this accursed island? Is this the hideous end prepared for Ulysses and his unfortunate companions? My name is Polyphemus. My master Poseidon, god of the sea, created me to deny poor mortals access to those mysterious lands where only gods may enter. Not a chance they'll get out of this one. The Cyclops will wither them in the twinkling of an eye. Zeus, do something. So Zeus produced a fog so thick that even the ghastly beam of the Cyclops could not penetrate it. Ulysses' ship managed to reach the island all others before had smashed on the reefs, but Ulysses is an excellent sailor, and he is, perhaps, guided by Zeus. The fog is beginning to break up. 4 of you men come with me. We're going to explore this island. Carry your weapons and some provisions. The others can stay on the ship and mend the sails while they await our return. The little band, led by Ulysses, sets out toward the interior of the island. Wait for me. A walk will take the chill off my old bones. Besides, I'm naturally curious. Ewes and sheep. This island is certainly inhabited. Look up there. Isn't that an entrance to a cave? This certainly is a cave, and an inhabited one at that. Whoever lives here must have an incredible appetite. Look at those cheeses. I'd sure like to taste some. What a strange apparatus. What can it be for? I don't know, but listen. What's that noise outside? Pumph, 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 pumph. What is it? This doesn't bode well. We'd better hide ourselves. Oh, by Zeus! A giant! Look at its face, an eye, only one eye shining in the dark. The ghastly guard, who doesn't seem to have noticed the human presence, makes his way toward the mysterious apparatus embedded in one of the inner walls of the cave. What's it doing? That thing has started buzzing. There's a halo of light around it. What kind of marvel is this? Ah, that beam is becoming unbearable. It's an enchantment. Let's go. Wait a minute. The halo is dimming. The giant is moving away from the machine. He's going toward the hearth. The wood is bursting into flame beneath his gaze. This monster is a creature from hell. Having charged his circuits, the Cyclops begins to think of his stomach. Let's get out of this place while he's busy eating. I have no desire to face this fellow. The giant shovels enormous pieces of meat into the open chute fitted into his metal face. The meal is soon over. Clap! Sooner than Ulysses and his companions had anticipated, he surprises them at the very moment they were intending to flee. Terrified, Ulysses and his companions saw the gigantic being block off the entrance to the cave. He's locking us in. May the gods protect us. From now on, we are at his mercy. My name is Polyphemus, and no mortal can withstand my gaze. Zeus, remember your promise to me. Ulysses must not die. Well, in fact, we want it that way too, Athena. But now it's up to Poseidon to neutralize this creature of his. I'd like to, Zeus, but I don't think I can bring it off. The Cyclops is irreversibly programmed to exterminate all humans who appear on the ranges of his vision. You're lying. We all know that it's possible for you to tamper with the memory circuits of the Cyclops without affecting his conditioning. What do you say, Zeus? I say do it. Hurry up and save Ulysses. Time's running out. But isn't it already too late? Our shields are on fire. That light destroys everything it hits. Ah, we'll never return to our homelands now. I will never see Penelope again. At least we're not dying in the dark. Still, I would have liked to have added a couple of supplementary chapters to the tale of our adventures. Reluctantly, Poseidon communicates with the technicians in his empire beneath the sea. These are my orders. Neutralize the sentinel immediately, but maintain a condition of alert. Beneath the sea, the Triton technicians carry out their master's orders. A moment later, in the sentinel's den, the awful beam is disappearing, the giants turning away. What sort of miracle? Were we not already dead? Responding to a call inaudible to human ears, Polyphemus leaves his victims in order to immobilize himself by means of the strange machine. A mysterious cylinder lowers slowly over the Cyclops. Erase from his memory any recollection of these last moments. Let him forget the mortal's presence, and let him assume a position of physical recuperation. And so it will be said that on this day Poseidon gave in to the will of Zeus and the whims of Athena. Lady, Your protégés had better take advantage of this breather to get out of where they are in a hurry, because the Cyclops' sleep won't last forever. It's interesting, the tension between Athena and Poseidon, who I'm just remembering from the myth of the founding of the city of Athens. The two of them were engaged in a contest to see who the people of the city would choose as their patron god, and of course they choose Athena. And so I'm wondering if this feeds over into this tension between the two. He's leaving the machine. Careful, he's coming this way. Alas, how can we escape? This time he's going to kill us all. But the Cyclops ignores the human's presence. Has he forgotten us? I don't understand. He seems to be sleepy. His eye is only shining weakly. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get out of here. He could wake up any minute. Then let's take advantage of his sleep and cut him to pieces. And then, how are we going to leave this place? The giant dead will die with him locked in this cave. We'll never manage to move that vast rock blocking the entrance. Are you trying to say that he alone can move the rock? Even so, we can't let him live. Have you forgotten that murderous gaze of his? He who blinds will be blinded in his turn. That big hunting spear over there will do the job. What? Those miserable earthlings wouldn't dare. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Clate! The spear breaks open, shatters, wrecks the electronic eye of the Cyclops in an explosion of light. But alas, before being extinguished, the light-flashing gaze of the Cyclops struck the most clear-sighted among the mortals. It's become so black, all of a sudden. What is this darkness which engulfs me? An eye for an eye, that is how the poet Homer lost his sight in this adventure. Okay. O Cyclops, my concept, my creation, my Polyphemus, the best of my sentinels, sabotaged by these idiots, and to think that this is how I have rewarded you for sparing their miserable lives. Rage, thump, colossal. Within the cave, the mutilated monster moves with stumbling steps. Is he suffering? From his gigantic chest there comes a deep and constant rattle. His vast, disorganized body crashes against the inner walls. He's grabbing the rock that bars the way. He's moving it. Let's go. The way is clear. Gab, crash, stamp, tear. What is happening to me now? Free at last. To the ship. Pray heaven. They're ready to weigh anchor. Captain, there you are. We were feeling nervous about you. Some very strange things seem to happen on this island. You can't imagine what we've heard. And what we've seen. I know. Everyone on board. Let's get off this cursed island as fast as possible. Is Poseidon, master of the depths, leaving the party? I shall return to my empire that I may avenge the Cyclops. I shall punish these mortals myself. The ocean will be their grave. Stop. The end of their story gets decided right here. Would you hesitate to punish those who ridiculed my power and broke our law? Don't they deserve to die? He's right, the wrath of Zeus. Give him the wrath. It's not fair. If we hadn't started this, none of it would have ever happened. Watch yourself, Athena. The great game has its limits, which must not be overstepped. Its rules must not be broken. I understand your anger, Poseidon, and in truth, it's only fair that these mortals be punished. But should it be by death? Isn't there a more subtle and more interesting form of punishment? What do you mean, Zeus? Suppose Ulysses and his companions simply follow the perilous course on which they are set. Let's see to it that they stray into the forbidden world, and, after a certain number of years, if they manage to overcome the dangers we place in their path, and if they learn how to satisfy us, then perhaps we will let them return to their homeland. the valiant Ulysses and his crew are completely unaware of the terrible sentence which has been passed upon them, and so, with reckless spirit and light hearts, they pull at the oars that they might leave behind them the accursed island and its solitary sentinel, useless and desolate. To be continued. So far as I know, this is the only episode of the story that appeared in the magazine. I've looked through the following issues, and it doesn't seem to follow this episode up with any others, but I know that Heavy Metal Magazine did publish a collected book of all the episodes, and I'm pretty sure that you can still manage to find a copy online. I really, I kind of like this. I really love the artwork. It does have a more of a 1970s sensibility to it. It's kind of libertine sort of sleaziness to it, and the story is, I appreciate the cleverness, the melding, the fusing of science fiction elements into the story of the Odyssey, and I really think the depiction of the Greek gods as these crazy sort of sci-fi superheroes is pretty cool as well. I remember when I first started reading Heavy Metal Magazine in the early 80s, the first issue that I read, they were just finishing up another adaptation of the Odyssey. So I think I might try to go and find the issues that appeared in, and maybe do a video for that to compare the two. But all in all, I think I'd like to go and find a copy of the collected, the book form of the collected episodes, and read the whole thing through. Okay, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this.